Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am your host, as always, Seth. Today I have Federico Romallo. Hopefully I said that correctly. If not, he'll correct me, I'm sure. He is of Density Labs. He is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Man, this is a lot of hard words to say this morning. Anyhow, he helps U.S. companies with nearshore help and also helps the local community in Guadalajara who are very tech savvy and want to get into business with doing so. He's a serial entrepreneur. He has 20 years plus years of extensive experience in software engineering. He's worked for Microsoft. He's done a lot of stuff in his young age. So we're going to bring Federico in here right now. How's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Hello, Seth. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How hot is it down in Mexico today? Really hot and steamy?
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's good. That's a start.
Yeah,
Last time we talked, it was like burning up down
it's
there.
it's like California weather all the time, but you have
Ooh.
all the weathers all around. So mountains, beach, you name it, and the best tequila in the world.
Oh, the only true tequila. Of course, you said mezcal is better though.
Yes, mezcal is better. Yes,
Personal
it's
opinion.
it's the moonshine Mexican version. Yes, my
I
friend.
like that. I like that. So you worked for Microsoft back in the day,
Yes.
and and then you moved on into your. Then you were. Where are you originally from?
So I'm an Argentinian living in Mexico.
Argentinian.
Yes.
Argentinian living in Mexico. So where did you grow up in Argentina?
So I grew up in Buenos Aires, next to Buenos
Oh,
Aires, outside of the Buenos Aires city, and I was hired by Microsoft when I was 16. So they basically built a position for me. So when I look around, there were no other candidates.
oh
They
my
asked,
God! And when you were 16 too, that's really young. You're just still in high school.
yes, yes. Actually,
How'd that happen? I mean, were you like deep into coding and computers back then, or like how
so
did they find you?
so there was a program called the Founder Institute has a program
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
for teens where they basically build startups, right? So with most of the startups are about selling jam and things like that, right?
Yeah.
This event was sponsored by Microsoft, so a lot of mentors were from Microsoft. So
Oh,
they
he scouted you.
yes, so from 400 people they chose 60. They built two companies out of 30 two companies of 30 people, and we built the first technology company in the history of that program, right? um,
Woo! That's
so
awesome.
we built something similar to eBay back in 1999, right? It was an interesting journey because we learned to code, we
Yeah.
learned to build software, and eventually I ended up leading the technical team, right? um, the company was the highest valuation of the company because they
Oh,
wanted to give
wow.
us $70,000 for the company.
But this is
But then
coming. Let's keep this in mind. This is coming from Founders Institute, like a hackathon kind of thing, like a group
right,
effort. So $70,000 from something that's a bunch of high schoolers
yeah, I mean it
learning
was
how to do stuff as they go is pretty impressive.
15 weeks and we built the company.
With a $70,000 evaluation, that's pretty
Yes,
impressive. Yeah.
and they wanted to hire all the technical team. But then the parents got in, and then it became messy, and then the bubble burst, the internet bubble burst,
Oh no.
right?
Yeah.
And then
We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
it was chaotic, but the incubator basically pulled out,
Yeah.
And then Microsoft reached out to me and say, "Hey, would you be interested in working with us?" So
Ooh, that's
from
kind of
400
that's
people,
very
they chose me.
wow. Everybody, they're the only one they took.
Sorry?
You're the only one they took.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's an honor. That's flattering to say the least.
That is flattering, yes. And when I saw that there were no other candidates, I realized, okay, they open up a position just for me, right?
That's even
So
more
that was
flattering. That's pretty
interesting.
awesome. Yeah.
Yes,
So you did that for a while, and then after
yes.
that, did you immediately jump into entrepreneurship, or was there some other stuff between then and your entrepreneurial journey?
So after that, I was a Microsoft boy, as I would call myself, right? I launched Microsoft Office. I talk in front of thousands of people. I was
Wow.
working with the enterprise. So I was working with the biggest banks. And basically, they will be pulling me out they would say, hey, we want Federico for a few days, right? So I would go to talk to the, cream of the cream of
Yeah.
the engineering team on one bank or another, or corporations.
Wow.
And they will be saying, please teach us, right? So it was fun, right? And so after that, I went 180 degrees. So I said, you know what, I have to learn about Linux, open source,
Yeah.
and all that world, right? um, and then I shifted towards. It took me um, a lot of time because I haven't zero experience with Linux.
Yeah.
It took me at least 1 month to be able to boot a computer.
Oh
back when
god,
you
yeah,
had
Linux is tough. Yeah.
Yeah, back when you had to compile the kernel, basically, right?
You see, you did it
uh,
from the ground up. I mean, you just install Ubuntu and go with it. You like built the Linux kernel. Yeah.
right, right. Then eventually Ubuntu was easier, right?
Yeah. Oh, much easier.
Yes, yes. So then I started working on Ruby on Rails, and the issue was that the commute from where I was living to the city was longer and longer, right? Because of traffic,
Hmm.
people blocking the streets
Were you still in
for.
Argentina at this time, or were you up in Seattle?
I was in Argentina, so what happened is that there was some civil and political instability, and basically
Yeah.
they would coordinate kind of riots to
Yeah.
block the city entrance. So
Oh, geez. That made the commute a little tough.
yes, so a
And there
30
was no
minute
ways back then
commute.
either, so they couldn't reroute you.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you're stuck on traffic and there's nothing you can do, right?
You just sit there.
um, yes, so I said I don't want to do this commute anymore. So I kind of reinvented myself as a remote worker. I started working from home, right?
Yeah.
And I moved to open source technologies, and I started working with American startups
Yeah.
on Ruby on Rails back in 2003.
Oh,
It
wow.
was it was the new technology at that time. So I work on multiple projects, one
Yeah.
more interesting than the other, right? So I will be taking technical leadership roles and things like that, right?
Oh, wow.
um,
All
so it was
freelance,
interesting.
right? Or freelance or in like
Yes.
yeah, freelancing, so that's the way to go, yeah.
And then one of these companies invited me to go to Mexico. Would you like to go
Oh,
to Mexico and train new folks? And it was,
yeah.
yes, sure.
Tequila.
uh, yeah, I've met my wife in Mexico, so then I
Aw,
decided to stay, right?
that's awesome.
So that's how kind of got into Mexico, right?
So you go to Mexico and
um,
you decided to stay for the tequila, the mezcal, the family, all that good stuff, and the job,
yes, and the job, yes.
and the job.
So then I started doing this. I founded my company back in 2016, and we do near shore staff augmentation. I call it sprinkled with consulting, uh,
I love it.
where I consult my clients on how to improve their software development process. I think I'm the only one that says, do not hire more people. Let's focus on improving the process,
Exactly,
right?
and so you bring people in from the
Right.
area to work on these projects, to work on dedicated teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, it all started with me
Yeah.
personally recommending people that I personally know, right?
Yeah.
Too many personal, but yeah, you get the idea, right? But it's people that I can vouch for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I shifted towards building a recruiting process
Oh,
and a
very
screening
cool.
process. So now we can screen the best 2% of software engineers.
Ooh.
And basically, we aim to one shot, one kill. So we present a candidate to client, and usually it takes two interviews. They need to interview two candidates. Sometimes it's personal preference. Sometimes they
Yeah.
don't make a click, right?
You have to
Um,
click. You have to the
yeah,
culture fit and all that stuff. Yeah.
a lot of stuff, yes. And then we have clients that trust us enough, where they basically say, "I trust you, Federico, so go ahead, move forward with the hire. I trust you're going to find the right people for us."
So do they hire them in house on their teams, or do you manage or do you manage the relationship with the end client?
We hire them as employees in Mexico.
Okay, for
We have
you.
a Mexican company. We also can do employer of record,
Okay.
uh, and then we do all the management locally. We have an overbuilt IP and legal protection
Yeah, you
for
have to, absolutely. It has to
yes,
be overbuilt.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a prepper on my free time, so I kind of overbuild those type of things, right?
Absolutely, you have to. If you don't, you're
Um,
gonna get stuck somewhere.
yes, yes, and we never had any IP leaks or anything like that. So
That's
yeah, we
good. Oh,
just
I'm glad to hear that. So you've done the corporate thing. Literally, Microsoft made a position for you, and then
yeah.
you've done the freelance and you've done your own business a few times. Now, what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur versus being an intrapreneur?
Um, being an intrapreneur, you always have this safety net,
Yeah,
right? So being an entrepreneur is like this, doing acrobatics in the air, right?
yeah,
With no net, right?
yeah.
So you really need to have balls of steel to do that, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Um,
And which do
so
you prefer? I mean, obviously you're still doing the entrepreneur stuff, but do you ever miss being part of a bigger company?
mm, sometimes, but not really. I mean, the benefit I think is the freedom that it gives you.
Mhm.
Um, with corporate, there's a lot of red tape that you have to go through, right?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's not good, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I always push the envelope. So I always try to go out and beyond of my role, right?
Yeah.
I have a funny story about that. I was at the Microsoft office, and then there was a light bulb failing, right? So then I go up on the desk and I start fixing the light bulb, right?
Yeah,
And
why not? Yeah, it's annoying when it's failing.
until a manager show up, he saw me on the hall, and he was saying like, "What are you doing?" Well, there's a problem. I'm fixing it, right? And he was like, "No, no, no, you should not do that. It's not your role." And we have a technician, a building maintenance guy that can do that, right? And it was okay. I'll follow the procedure, right? Which kind of makes sense on
Yeah.
liability, right? But I'm that guy, right?
You're that guy. You're that guy who's like, "I can just fix it. I'm just gonna do it." Exactly.
Yes. So
That's wild.
now with density, we were able to have this freedom. I was I've been able to have this freedom because now we have we were able to build a great team, right?
Yeah.
So I think now uh, going to the corporate world will be difficult for me,
Yeah, they don't wanna
right?
hire you now. It's just set in your ways.
Once you taste that freedom,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So on the flip side, what keeps you up at night being an entrepreneur? What makes you worry and what's the scary thing about being an entrepreneur?
So what keeps me at night is I am concerned about my employees and my interns.
Yeah.
There are two parts of that: happiness and growth.
Yeah.
So the happiness, we kind of figured it out. People are
Oh,
happy
that's good.
overall, so that's good. We were awarded best place to code last year, and
I
that's
saw that.
based on
Congratulations.
thank you. That's based on the people vote.
Yeah.
I had an employee. He's almost 3 years with us now, and he said, "Everything you promised me on your vision, um, when I started with you, you delivered. So you
Wow.
what I said is I want to change people's life, right?" And then he said to me, uh, "You changed my life, right?"
That's what a
So
rewarding statement. That's awesome.
yes, yes. And then all the sacrifice
Mhm.
that an entrepreneur makes, it kind of pays off when they say that, right?
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
And then on the growth side, as a near shore outsourcing team, I push the envelope, right?
Yeah.
Um, I go above and beyond, right?
Yeah.
So we do the coding, but I try to build social contracts with the product owners. I try to
Mhm.
improve their software development process. But and then we train the engineers, and they are ambitious and they want to grow, right? So
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
that's what keeps me right now awake at
Up
night,
in that.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm thinking, what can I do to provide the growth that software engineers need and deserve, and they earn, right?
Yeah.
um, so I push the envelope with my clients to do more, right? And then we get to a point where the we get to leadership positions or managerial um, uh, um, managerial responsibilities
Yeah.
level, right? And then that's where usually they push back. So it takes a lot of convincing to say, please let us try, let us give us the opportunity, right? And we can
Exactly.
show you, right? And when they give us the opportunity, we show, we go above, we exceed the expectations, and then they love it, right? But
Exactly. Happy
it takes a
client.
lot of
Yeah.
convincing, yeah.
Oh, it always does. Absolutely. So here's a question for you. What is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Oh, I carry a flashlight.
Really?
Yeah, 4,000 lumen flashlight. I carry
Fancy.
um, my phone, and then it depends on the situation, because when I'm in the city, it's different. But I'm out on the field,
Yeah.
uh, so I
You
tend
never know
to,
when you need a flashlight.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So when I know that I'm going to go on the road, I I carry a pocket knife, and I carry lots of water and lots of food.
It's just in case, because Mexico's a big country.
Yeah, I mean, I usually go off road.
Oh,
So
okay, it's your side hustle. Yeah, it's your fun stuff.
yes, I got stuck in the middle of nowhere for 5 days.
Oh no.
So the extra
Experience
water and
tells you
food
be
allow me
prepared.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Well, that's definitely very important to carry with you all the time. Absolutely. So Federico, where can people find you online? Densitylabs.io is the site, and
yes,
your
that's it.
main watering hole online is LinkedIn.
Yes, mostly LinkedIn. That's I'm starting to blog, so I'm starting to write about my experiences.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been always busy with a lot of things, and it's
Oh, it's
like
always something. Always
something
something.
that, yes. So that was something that I wanted to do. So I'm started to blog more.
Good.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love to hear that when people are like blogging again. That's a good thing. So, well, Federico, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see
Thank
everyone next time.
thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.